Okay, so I am going to do it's not really a movie review. Let's not call it that. It's not really a movie review. It's more so like insight on this movie. I think it came out last month. I think it came out in August. Um yeah, so I'm going to talk about this movie The Deliverance. And I've been wanting to talk about it. I've recorded all these clips of me like talking about it. I'm like, this is doing too much. I'm just like, we're just gonna do this like one clean, clear shot. That's it. Um, so the Deliverance movie, this is not to be mistaken with the 70s movie called Deliverance, which is two separate storylines, has nothing to do with the other. Um, so the Deliverance, which came out August, yeah, came out last month, 2024. Um, this movie is a Lee Daniels movie. So this movie, I guess it's supposed to be a horror film, horror, thriller, suspense, whatever. Honestly, in my opinion, I didn't really care too much. Like the movie itself, like I could do without it. And it's not because like, oh, it's a horror movie. Like I don't mind horror movies. Hey Mars, hey Ro, how are y'all? Happy Thursday, happy Jupiter Day. Um, but yeah, so if you like thrillers, you like suspenses and horror movies, and you kind of like exorcist type of films, then you might like this. Um, I wouldn't suggest it for children. Like, this is not a movie that kids should be watching, or if you're very sensitive to like imagery or you like get spooked out by spirits and ghosts and stuff like that and demons and stuff, this is not the movie for you. Just disclaimer. Um, the energy's intense. I feel you, sis. I feel you. Feel ya. But yeah, I want to talk about this movie, The Deliverance. It's on Netflix. I'm late to the party. I just barely watched it. I think I watched it last Friday night. And my goodness. So if you've ever seen like an exorcist movie, any movie where they call in like priests and stuff like that to do um where they call them in to like do exorcisms and stuff like that on this possessed child or whatever. In this movie, spoiler alert, if you plan on watching it, I'm going to spoil the movie for you because I have to like make points. And I know I can jump, skip around. So sometimes you just kind of have to flow with me. But yeah, so the child, so it basically, okay, let me give you the storyline. It's a single mother and her mother, right? So the grandmother, the mother and the grandmother and the mother's children. She has two teenage children. She has a teenage boy, a teenage daughter, and then a younger son. They move into this new house. This house is ratchet. Okay, it's kind of broke down. At least the real one. So this is based off of a true event, like the story. So this house supposedly or allegedly had like 200 spirits or in it, in this one house that was possessing this home, right? So in the movie, the mother moves into this new house, and actually the house on the movie looks cute, but the real life movie is not that cute. I mean, the real life house is not that cute, but the one on the film is cute or whatever. And they kept emphasizing this attic, and the attic had like flies around it. Like, you know how movies, they have to give you like a build up, kind of like leave little nuggets and gems so you kind of get the hint, like, okay, this attic means something. These flies, like, why is there flies flying around the house and flying around this basement? Why is the little boy so drawn to this attic? So fast forward, the son um is the first one that gets very intrigued. And from my understanding, when I watched the movie, the little boy was possessed. He was the first one to be possessed in the house because it was like this scene where he looked like he was sleepwalking or something. And he goes in the kitchen and he's drinking milk straight from the jug and it's like spilling everywhere. And he has like this dazed look in his face. So I assume he was already like kind of being influenced or whatever. Fast forward, the kids, I guess the demon starts showing itself in the house, and it like threw the kids around in the room, and they make it look like the mom did it because I guess the mom has a drinking problem or whatever. And so the kids were like, we don't know what happened. The next day, these kids go to school. They start wilding out, doing some sick shit. Like this movie psychologically, like if you're somebody that doesn't really understand how spiritual, like the dark side of spiritual things work, and you don't believe in spirits, you don't believe in demonic spirits, that this movie will probably fuck your head up because the thing about demons is they they will do things that, like, you can tell when okay, I'm jumping around. You can tell when somebody is demonically possessed by their attitude, their demeanor. So sometimes they'll do things that don't make sense. Like, and I hate to be graphic, but let's say like people that eat other people. And you're just like, what the fuck would make you do that? Like, and they might not even know why they did it themselves. That's most likely somebody that's demonically possessed. Um, doing things to animals and stuff like that. Like you have to be psychologically just like fucked up to do things like that, right? So these kids were like acting real crazy at school. So that was like kind of another indicator that those spirits were kind of fucking with everybody in the house. Long story short, there was this woman that would watch the family from her car, and it was always this mystery, like, who is this woman watching them? Like, why is she watching this family? So finally they introduced who this woman is. She's an apostle at a church, and she was like, I've been watching your family. That house that you guys are in, that house is possessed. The family that was in it before, I tried to save them, but I couldn't. The demons were too strong. These are ancient demons. These are ancient spirits. Your family's in danger. Y'all need to get the fuck out and dodge, right? So the mom, she really didn't take heed at first. She was like, whatever, stay the F away from my kids, stay the F away from my family, whatever, and walked off. And I can't remember what made her call her. Oh, okay. I remember. So the grandmother in the movie, which was supposed to be a born again Christian or whatever, the main character's mother, which played by Glenn Close, they had Glenn Close wearing these like ashy ghetto back of the store, like beauty supply store wigs for $20, like the lace fronts that you don't want, them, she had that on. They had her playing like this white woman that was like into black men, like with the little haircut, Anyway, so she's at the house, and I guess the demon gets her and like takes her out, unalives her, right? Takes her out, and the kids find her, the mom finds her on the floor unalived. And the house starts to catch on fire because it was a crucifixion. It was like a little statue of Jesus on the wall on the cross, and it like goes up in flames, right? So that's the demonic activity. So she gets her kids out, gets out in Dodge. The grandmother, ambulance or whatever, takes the body or whatever. And as they're leaving the hospital, the mom looks back in the car and she's talking to the little boy, and the little boy was like, it's your fault, your mom is dead. And his voice was like real dark and demonic, right? And she looks back and his eyes turn black, so she screams or whatever. So fast forward, they put her in a psych ward because they think something is wrong with her. She tripping, she's hysterical. Nobody believes her that her son, like, something's wrong with him. And so they take the kids for the night and um they put them in like a nursery or something, like a Catholic church nursery or something like that. And the little boy, I can't remember how the fuck did he get in the hospital. I cannot remember because they had to restrain him because he started to get violent. And there was a scene in the movie, child, where this little boy pops his restraints off. Like, you know how like people, when they take them to like the psych ward to restrain them so they don't like get crazy or whatever. So he was like laying down, and he pops the braces off of his restraints and starts crawling on the walls backwards and shit. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. And the reason why it's kind of disturbing is because you're watching this little kid like act out in a certain way that's just like it's disturbing. That's why I'm like, I don't think kids should watch this movie. And if you're sensitive to stuff like that, you shouldn't watch this movie. Um, I'm gonna share my testimony. I want y'all to know that spiritual warfare is real. I want y'all to know that demons are real. Spirits are weird. Okay, they're weird. I was about to say weird and weird and real at the same time. They're real. They're actually real, and you have to understand. Like the movies, the movies do like a dramatization of possession. But this is the thing, though. Like if you've ever seen a possessed individual before, if you've ever seen a possessed being ever in your life, you will know, like you'll know that some stuff is not human all the time. Like for instance, it is very possible for people to contort. I had a friend that it was this, I guess, like a chick that they were, her and her group of friends, they would all hang out together. And when it would get dark at night, like maybe let's say like, for instance, like 6 p.m., this woman would start like forming, like she would start acting funny, and then she would contort, she would do stuff with her body, she would act crazy, and then when she would come out of it, she don't remember anything. She didn't remember what was going on. And I remember my friend telling me that it freaked her out, but at first she had to snap out of it, and she was like, no, I can't be in fear. Like I can't do that. I cannot be in fear. I see what's happening in front of me, but I can't allow fear to overtake me. So that's just weird. Um, I'll share my experience in a second, but let me get back to the movie. Anyway, so the mom hits up the apostle and tells her what's going on. And the apostle is like, you have to deal with whatever's inside of your heart, because the spirit, those demons, they're going to play on your insecurities. Basically, they're going to play on your fears, all of that. And that is so true. How you know you're going through spiritual warfare, you're being spiritually attacked, oftentimes out of the blue, you'll just be depressed for no reason. You might have suicidal thoughts for no reason. You might be tired all the time. You don't have no energy. You might be thinking negatively about yourself all the time. Like you're just not yourself. You're not your normal self. Like it doesn't make sense. And you'll start having these intrusive thoughts about things about yourself, like you're stupid, you can't do nothing right, for example, like things like that, or nobody wants you, like whatever you battle with, whatever, you'll notice that those things will, you'll start having those negative thoughts. You'll start just kind of being drained of your energy and your life force. And that's how you know something is not right. That's how you know you're being spiritually attacked, or at least some of the ways you'll know. You have to be really discerning. And so one thing is for sure, like I notice when I go into prayer, I have to pull myself. Like if I don't have anybody else around me to pray for me or pull me out, I have to pull myself out. And one of the ways that I pull myself out is I go into prayer, or I just go into speaking in tongues, which when I do that, I feel like that like gets my power going. I know there's something wrong when I don't have the energy to pray, or I don't want to. And I try and I try, and it feels like something is like stopping me from doing it, or some type of intrusive thought comes in, like something negative, like this shit's not working, you're stupid, God doesn't hear you. That's spiritual warfare. And when I seen it in this movie, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I'm saying that to make a point that what the apostle was telling the main character, the mother, she was telling her, like, you have to deal with that in your heart. And one of the biggest things that the mother dealt with was her and her own mother didn't have the best relationship. And they showed that throughout the movie, that her and her mom would like cuss at each other, call each other bitches and stuff like that. And so she had like this hardened heart, and she questioned whether she was worthy, whether she was loved. So the apostle told her, you have to deal with that. So she prayed, they prayed together or whatever. Okay, fast forward. They go to the house, because she's like, you got to be prepared, because these spirits are nothing to play with. So they go back to the house. They take the son, because they had to kidnap the son from the hospital to take him to the house to do deliverance on him. So if you're not familiar with like Christian churches, they call basically what exorcism is like what the Christian church calls deliverance, where they practice a deliverance on you, where they cast out demons. I'm familiar with this because my aunt, she does deliverance, or she did that when she was in the church. That's one of the things that she was gifted in. I had got obsessed with doing deliverance stuff, or not doing deliverance, but just like interested in that whole thing. And I would like find videos on YouTube, and I would actually see um people casting out demons, and how the demons would respond to the prayers, and when you call them out, and how you're supposed to talk to them. And I was so fascinated by that because, like I said, I know that the spirit world is real. I know firsthand. I've seen it. I've seen it for myself. And so I would get like so into the like these deliverance videos, and I bought this book. It's a very powerful book, and it talks about different ways that spirits can exist in your body. Like if you think of your body as like a cabinet with different layers or different sections, so different parts in your body, they could have certain spirits that will sit. So like somebody maybe that, let's say someone that always talks negatively all the time, spirit, like a spirit talking to them. What I mean by that is like a spirit that has filth, that speaks filth and negativity, and it comes through the person, right? Or someone that has like sexual perversion, they probably have a spirit that exists in their womb or somewhere, in their genitals, right? um Side note, hold on, I had a call, so I don't know if you guys could still hear me. But yeah, so basically there's different ways that you can cast out certain spirits. So like in your ear gates, like certain things that you hear, like if you're hearing negative things all the time, or suggestions or things that are kind of dark, it could be some type of influence. And how does that happen? What you listen to, what you watch, certain things, um certain things that you watch, certain things that you listen to, who you're sleeping with, who you're conversing with. Like you can have energy transfers with people if you're not careful, with the wrong person, with the wrong people. um yeah, there's so many ways. If you're watching porn, things like that, like certain things can jump. It's deep, but we're not going to go too much into that anyway. So long story short, they get back to the house with the child that's possessed, right? And they start practicing deliverance on him. And as soon as they start opening their prayer, the demon forms into the main character's mother, the grandmother. It forms into her, and it starts saying all this disgusting stuff. So that's how you know, like, okay, in a movie, like I said, they have to dramatize the experience of like possession. So if this was like a real life situation, if this was a real situation, the little boy starts saying negative stuff, like the mother, let's say, like things that the mother would say, that would probably trigger the main character, let's say. So they're going to use that face to show you, okay, that's the spirit talking and trying to get her to feel some type of way, to get triggered, to get discouraged, right? So that's what the demon was doing. And then it would like go back and forth, and it would switch, and it turned back to the little boy. But this time the little boy looked really broad, like his features were really broad, his eyes were dark. And the apostle gets tossed around by this demon. And then the demon eventually, not to spoil it, but unfortunately the demon takes um the demon takes the apostle out. And the apostle says before she dies, she said, I let fear, the fear get to me. Basically, I let fear get to me. And she said, you can't, if you're going to complete this, if you're going to save your child, you cannot let fear get to you. So the mom, the mom starts to confront this demon, and they go into that attic. The attic was like one of the main features of the movie. They kept showing this attic the whole time on the movie. So when she got down to the attic, the demon turns into her, the main character, the mom. It turns into the main character, and it's telling her, you know, if nobody loves you, nobody wants you, your man don't even want you, your kids don't love you, blah blah blah, your mother didn't want you. And she starts fucking her up. Like this demon was like whooping her ass, okay? Um, and I don't know, like I've never experienced like or seen or witnessed possession in a way where demons can get physical. Not saying that I don't discount that, because I feel like it's very much possible. Or if a person is possessed, that they can hurt their own selves by being possessed, and they showed that in the movie too. And some of those parts were a little too gory for me. I was like, this is too much. Like the kids, her other two kids were being spiritually attacked from a whole nother distance. Like they were still at the nursery or whatever, the orphanage. Like it was like a Catholic orphanage. And both of her teenage daughter and son, they were like just doing all kind of gory stuff. And I was just like, this is too much. But they were showing the mom basically getting her ass whooped by this demon that formed into her. So she was battling herself. And this is the point that I was trying to make. When you go through spiritual warfare, you're spiritually being attacked. It's like you are warring against yourself. You hate yourself. You're picking yourself apart. You're having negative thoughts about yourself. You don't want to live. You want to unalive yourself and stuff like that. Or you're thinking those types of thoughts. Or it'd just be better if I wasn't here. That is how you know something ain't right. Especially if those thoughts don't come to you often, or you're doing good and they just randomly come to you. That is spiritual attacks being sent. So she gets her strength back up. The demon knocks her out, and she gets sent into like to the light. I don't know if that was a metaphor to say that she was about to die or something, because she gets sent to the light and she hears her mother's voice. And her mother was like, you probably don't want to talk to me. You probably don't, because they didn't have the best relationship. So she was like, you probably don't want to talk to me, but you can talk to God. And she snaps back out of it. And when she snaps back out of it, she starts speaking in tongues. And this is the part that gave me chills and kind of gave like put tears into my eyes, because I've never seen this on a movie ever. Every movie that I've ever watched where somebody was possessed, I've never seen them speak in tongues. I've never seen them plead the blood of Jesus over them. And I'm not all into Christianity like that, like in a sense, but I do know that that word Jesus, that name Jesus, spirits do not like that. Spirits do not like that. Hey, Tori. Hey, sis. They do not like that name. And from experience, personal experience, like whenever I would get attacked in my sleep, I would either do one or two things or both. I will speak in tongues in my sleep, like, because demons and stuff like that, like I said, they can have intrusions and stuff, or you can have, when I say intrusions, like let's say you have a dream and there's something going on in the dream that you feel a sense of fear, or you feel like it could be like let's say an animal, like a snake or something in your dream, or a rat, or some type of animal that looks kind of demonic sometimes, or in your sleep, in your dreams. It could be like some type of sense of fear or danger, or certain types of people in your dream, or they could have weird faces. And whenever I would encounter these types of energies, and sometimes I would have to intercede for people in my dreams because they will be coming against other people, and I would go in and speak in tongues and these spirits would flee. Now, when I would be sleeping and I would feel like something's laying on top of me, like kind of like sleep paralysis, but it's almost like a spirit is sitting on you. I can't explain it. It's like you feel something's trying to keep you and hold you down. I've astral traveled before and I've never experienced something that felt like that. So I know that when I'm being attacked, and one of the ways that I get it to stop and get off of me, and I learned this as a child. I didn't know how to do it. Like nobody taught me how to do this. I just learned to do it myself. When I would have sleep paralysis as a kid, I would call on Jesus and I would snap right out of it. Still to this day as an adult, I know to do that. If I can't scream, or if I, because like I feel like in my sleep sometimes I'll try to scream, or I'll try to like free myself, and I can't speak and I can't do it. But for whatever reason, when I say Jesus, some things get off of me. It breaks. So I saw that in this movie, and she was speaking in tongues, that demons started getting really, really irritated. But this is one thing that I learned about demons too. These spirits, when you start combating them, they get threatened and they'll start calling you names, or they'll say things that are triggering to you, like in the movie. So for her, she dealt with feeling like she was loved. Again, she didn't have a good relationship with her mother. So the demon would be like, nobody loves you, your husband doesn't want you, or that man, that she said that n-word don't love you, your kids don't even love you, your mother didn't love you, you're nothing. And she was like, my mother loves me, she's a child of God, God loves me, my children, like she started affirming herself, and the demon was getting irritated. So then what did the demon try to do? Try to make allegiance with her, like, girl, we got to stick together, don't do this. It started like burning, it started to smoke or whatever, until she kept praying, she kept praying, she kept speaking in tongues, she kept praising God, and affirming herself, and that demon went into the pits of hell. Like, you know how movies are, it got dramatized shit. So the pits of hell opened up, and the little demon went in, or whatever. The little boy snapped out of his possession, her other two kids snapped out of their possession. So pretty much, whatever, long story short, um yes, you have to. I don't know what it is, like, I mean, Jesus Christ is such a controversial figure. Christianity is just, it's just its own thing. And speaking of Christians, I almost did not watch this movie because I kept seeing all these movie review things pop up on YouTube and pop up on like other social medias, like, don't watch this. Christians should not watch this movie. This movie is demonic. And I'm thinking to myself, like, it's something, it's something there. And so I researched the movie a little bit, and Lee Daniels was talking about how he had prayer warriors on set and stuff like that, because he wanted to make sure that they were protected while they filmed this movie. Like, he knew better, he knew the assignment, he understood the assignment. And I appreciate the movie. Like, I wasn't the movie to me wasn't all that, it wasn't all that good to me, honestly, but the spiritual warfare aspect of it, and like kind of showing it and depicting it in a way, can you learn deliverance, can you learn and understand spiritual warfare in another way? Of course, yes. But I appreciate the movie addressing it. Like, if you're going to do a movie about demonic possession, I appreciate this angle, because I've never seen it done in that way. It's almost like it touched on something. Like, yeah, if you're gonna watch a horror movie and you're watching about possession, I hate to see how like the movies always end with the priests having to like sacrifice themselves so the child can be free, but they never attack the demon. I hope y'all notice that. Like, when you watch movies like The Exorcist, they never kill the demon or the spirit. It just transfers somewhere else, and that's not how it's supposed to work. Like, that doesn't teach you nothing. It don't teach you nothing. But because I've been like obsessed with Deliverance and stuff like that, to see that on film, I feel like was very interesting and very powerful. Now, the Christian community did not like this movie, and some of them didn't even watch it. Like, based off of the reviews that I came across, some of them didn't even watch the trailer. Okay, if they did, they said they had to turn it off. They didn't finish it. And I had this discussion with my aunt, because the aunt that does Deliverance, or used to practice Deliverance in church. And I was telling her like how, some of the Christian channels were like, this movie is so demonic and don't watch it. Yeah, whatever. Don't watch this movie. And she was like, they're babies. They're baby Christians, because, and this is why I always stress this, like, in the spiritual community. If you think that it's all love and light, it's just crystals and chakras, and y'all make everything so Disney Channel-ish, and that's ignorance to really think that. And it's dangerous that you go, it's like a little kid that their parents never taught them how to look both ways before they cross the street, or don't talk to strangers, don't accept candies from strangers, don't get in the car. It's like, if you don't teach your kids this, then they'll never know. So to think that when you become like spiritually aware that you're not going to go through spiritual warfare, you're fucking crazy. And you call yourself chosen and I'm a light worker. Well, you must know, hunty, if that's really the case, you are going to go through spiritual warfare, and you better be strapped and you better be equipped. Otherwise, like, you're just in delusions. And I think that's why some people go through spiritual psychosis and stuff like that, because they get they start to open themselves up to spiritual things that they don't understand. And then they go through things that spook them out, and they don't know how to deal with it, or they don't have the um it's like the fortitude, or they're just not ready to deal with it. So speaking of my testimony, I'm gonna get into it. And I hope my friend does, if she ever listens to this or whatever, that she doesn't get offended by me sharing this, because this is a testimony not only for her, for myself, but for her. Like, um, powerful stuff. So two of my friends, like, we used to go on like Facebook together on the little messenger where we do video chats or whatever. And one of my friends would be attacked every night. It was like clockwork. Every night she felt like something was like sitting on her, like she had like this pain. And one night, because we knew something was up, and she knew something was wrong, she felt it. So like this buildup of her dealing with this every night, me and my friend were like, okay, well, we're gonna help you, we're gonna get this thing off of you, because that's a spirit and we're gonna get it off of you. So she was like, one of my friends, she was like, Walu, get your singing bowl, we're gonna go into tongues and we're gonna get this thing off of her. So we all got on Facebook Live one night, or not Facebook Live, Facebook Messenger, the video chat together. And while we're talking, child, the the spirit starts to like form on my friend, and her face distorts like she like a mean mug, but like a serious mean mug. Like she looked like she wanted to come through the screen and whip my friend's ass. My other friend, like she looked like she wanted to whip her ass. She was looking at her like with a mean mug, like scrunching, like looking her up and down, like she wanted to like do something. So we started going into tongues, and I start, you know, playing my singing bowl, and we're trying to release this thing. And I must have like, I don't remember everything, but I do remember when she started to snap out of it, and it took me back to the movie, and I forgot to mention this. But when she snapped out of it, she was like talking in this baby voice, and she was looking around like she was confused. And she was like, "Where am I? Where am I?" And it reminds me of the part in the movie where the little boy, when he was like possessed and he had like that demonic face, he would snap out of it and he would be like, "Mommy, what's wrong with me?" And at first I was thinking, is that the demon like fucking with her, playing with her, tricking her, and making her think that her son is back to normal? But sometimes like that is how you know you're possessed, because you don't remember anything that you did. And it makes me wonder, like, when people get drunk, when people get really, really shit faced drunk, and you know they call alcohol spirits, right? Call them spirits. When people get so blacked out drunk, they don't remember shit from the next day. It makes you wonder, were you possessed by some type of spirit that you don't remember what the fuck you did, who you slept with, which, you know, you don't remember nothing. Like, you know what I mean? So when she was snapping out of it, my friend started singing Jesus Loves Me. And she comes back down to herself and she starts crying, and she's releasing and she's releasing. And she said that song reminds her of when she was a little girl. And it was something significant about that song. I know she said it reminded her of when she was a little girl in church, but it was like, I it was like around the time I think she said she would get bullied and something like that, or she got called ugly and all this stuff. And like I said, demons like to play on your heartstrings, and not in a good way, not breadcrumb you or love bomb you, but taunt you and mock you. So you got to be able to discern spirits and demons. You have to. And it's so real, y'all. Like, it's so real. And I have stories for days. I've seen demonic possessions quite a bit in people. And whew, goodness. Yeah. Yeah. Some people very, very close to me. Like, uh, mm, yeah, that shit's real. It's not folklore, like, it's not just movie dramatics, and it's not to fearmonger. It's real. Like, if you really believe in spirituality, you cannot be that naive and think that spirituality is just yoga and singing bowls and chakras and tarot. Like, no. I'm gonna need us to grow up a little bit. We're gonna have to come up a little bit, and it's okay to, I guess, be shocked. If you believe in angels, you better believe in demons, child, because it's real. It is. It's not a game. It's not. There's duality in everything in this universe, and you cannot move in fear. You cannot be in denial. You cannot be naive, and you most definitely cannot live in fear. If you call yourselves chosen, because I know that's a hot trend to call yourself chosen, but you have to understand what that is. Just like in the movie with Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne, that term chosen, like that movie, he went to the Oracle. I'm jumping around. I'm talking about another movie now. When he went to the Oracle, she was like, "You're not the one," and she told him that he wasn't the one because he didn't know, he didn't believe, that he still doubted himself, even though he was told he was the one by two other people, if I'm not mistaken, by Morpheus and Trinity. um he didn't believe it, so he went to this Oracle seeking for her to tell him the answer. And out of the when he left out of her house, there was a sign that said know thyself or something like that, or know yourself. So if you don't believe in yourself, you don't know that you're chosen, you know, it is what it is. Like, you don't know yourself. And he had to go through spiritual warfare all up and through that movie, all up and through it. Morpheus had to train him. Yeah, it looked like he was training him, like physically training him, like martial arts or mixed, whatever the fuck they was doing. But really, it was a metaphor of spiritually equipping him for battle. That's all that meant. That's what it meant. It's not about, oh, I'm about to fight these agents. I'm fighting them spiritually. That's what that means. Of course, in the movie, they're gonna have to show you it in a way, like cinematically, like the fights, the war. It looked like some cool shit with, some men, like, going at it or whatever. But really, spiritually, what that represented was spiritual warfare. So maybe watch those two movies. Shoot, let's have them bust a blockbuster night. Let's watch The Deliverance on Netflix. The Deliverance, not to get it mistaken with the movie called Just Deliverance, because it's a '70s movie that has nothing to do with The Deliverance. So this movie just came out in August of this year. So The Deliverance, and maybe watch The Matrix again. I don't know, or all three of them. Sober. Be sober minded when you watch these movies. Don't be watching it getting high and getting drunk. Like, please don't do that. Make sure you're sober and you're grounded. But yeah, just wanted to share that. Yeah, get your spiritual protection up, y'all, because it's crazy out here in these streets. People is wilding, and the biggest spiritual battlefield ever is always going to be in the mind. It is in the mind. So you have to have power and governance over your own mind. Because, yeah, that's where it starts. Everything starts within the mind and in the subconscious, and you have to be mindful of that. Check in with yourself daily. I found this in my phone. I was cleaning out my phone the other night, and it was like a good journaling exercise, like to check in with yourself. So, like, when certain thoughts are not yours, if they're intrusive, or if somebody you were hanging around with or talking to, like, you took on their energy, like you took on their stress or their pain, or somebody you slept with, like, you got to check in with yourself and make sure that everything that you're sensing and feeling or thinking, it is your own. And if it sounds like it's something foreign, it's something off, and it's not right, regulate that and check it and cancel that motherfucker out. You know, you have to know your own self, like, something ain't right with me. And I was just telling Tori, like, I felt like something is off. Like, I felt it. Like, this is not my energy. Something is fucking off. And somebody's sending me energy. I felt it this week. I said, something is off. This energy is not me. It just came out of nowhere. And I'm like, something is not right. So you got to check in with yourself, because I'm telling you, like, yeah, I wish I could be a better teacher, or just like, I don't know, not a teacher, but maybe just, I don't know, maybe a teacher to like kind of help people a little bit with like spiritual things, because I feel like it's just too bubblegum, and that's not always the reality, or that's not the only reality. And the other side of it is, if you're out here just naive in these streets, you don't know what you're up for, you don't know what you're dealing with, that's not a good thing. um and I don't say this to be condescending to people and be like, oh, not everybody should be, tapping into spiritual stuff or tapping into spiritual tools. If you don't know what you're really getting at, or what, like, you just get into something that you're not equipped or ready for, or have understanding or a level of understanding of what you're doing, or your energy is not right, you have to be very careful with that. You know what I mean? Like, calling on spirits and demons, and or wearing certain amulets, or doing candle magic and spell work and all this shit. Like, if your mind is fucked up psychologically already, or you're emotionally broken, or you're looking for an external fix, like, if you're desperate, or you doing things that you have no business, like, you know what I mean? Like, no. Divination of any kind. Divination is not just tarot and oracle. It's not just cards. Divination comes in many different forms. It's an ancient tool. It is a divine tool. But it's how we utilize it and what energy are we in. Like, a Ouija board may not necessarily be demonic, but it depends, like, who's using it. Tarot is not demonic. It depends on who's using it, or the intention of it. Or do you understand why you're doing it and what you're doing? Do you understand you know, the principles of certain things? Like, you can't just call on certain deities. I know for my Haitian gals and guys, I know that certain things, like, y'all spirits, y'all deities, that people just think, oh, I can just work with this person and work with this spirit, especially, and then you trying to like put them on somebody else and stuff. That stuff gonna backfire. You know, that stuff is not for everybody. Especially cultural wise. Certain things you have to be initiated into, or it's a bloodline thing. So like I said, like, we have to really get permission to tap into certain things, be called to it. And that's why a lot of people run back to the church, because that's like a safe haven. Like, when you boxing in the ring with something you know nothing of, and then it's like, well, let me run to Jesus. But Jesus is not like no punk energy either. Like, if Jesus ain't no punk. Why do demons flee off of that name? I don't know. Somebody has like a cool metaphysical, it all, or just your own opinion or your own take as to why maybe spirits don't like that name. I don't know. I do not know. But I'm gonna post the little meme that I saved in my phone, and I recovered it the last few days, like, to check in with yourself. I'm gonna post it on the community tab, so maybe you can do it as like a journaling exercise to check in with yourself, daily, maybe in the morning and then at night. Like, just check in with yourself, um, because like I said, especially now, where are we at? We in Libra season. Yeah, it's a good time to like weigh your heart and see where your heart is at right now. Just weigh your heart, see what's up. And the veil is gonna get thin as we move into autumn and Scorpio season. Oh yeah, it's gonna get thin, and that is a time where, if you into like working with your ancestors and things like that, oh, they're gonna be talking, they're gonna be around. It's gonna be a very sensitive period. Um, October and November, I feel like, is like not the only month that we should honor our passed on loved ones, but like, that's the time that we really show them honor and reverence. We keep their memories alive, we keep their spirits alive, and we honor them, and we show them the love and respect. But that's going to be very potent energy. It just, yeah, it is. It's also energy harvesting time too, so make sure you get your protection up. And when I said that, it was 4444 4444 on the timestamp. When I said that, get your spiritual protection up. There's so much energy harvesting. There's so much going on. And um if it's not happening in your personal life, then it's on TV, on the media. Like, that bullshit that they be doing. Trying to get everybody stressed out and worried, and oh, get your flu shots and do this and do that, and, the elections, like all that stuff to keep you in the just stuck in this fucking hamster wheel. So you just gotta see between it, see between the lines, and stay grounded. Of course, stay grounded. Be present. Take care of your energy. Fear doesn't do anything for you. Fear is just a sickness and an illness if you let it become. But ground your energy, whatever that looks like. It could be simple things. It could be like, shit, I don't know, taking a jog, going to the gym, drawing, taking a bath, prayer, talking to God, spending time with your kids, your loved ones, checking on one of your friends or family members, whatever. Could be anything. Ground your energy. Ground your energy. Yeah. So I'm gonna post that. It's called. Let me see the post that I'm gonna share with you guys. It's called "Processing Your Feelings Sound Like dot 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 dot." So it has like these bullet points, like to ask yourself these questions. So if you want, like I said, you can get a journal, ask yourself these questions, and write it out. Like just check in with yourself. If go to the Dollar Tree, get you a little notebook, a little journal, the little notebooks that they have in school, and dedicate it to journaling your feelings and your thoughts to check in with yourself. Something like that. Or put it in notes in your phone. But I find journaling, like when it comes to like self-reflecting, it helps. Yeah, it helps to talk it out with somebody or to sit with yourself, but I feel like one of the best ways to really sit with your thoughts and your feelings is to see it on paper, to process it. And sometimes you'll process like how ridiculous some of the thoughts or fears that we have. Like what really, like, why? Like this don't make no sense. Like sometimes you just need to sit with it in that way, or just be like, okay, I've been kind of ignoring this. Let me deal with this. Like it helps. It does. It helps to check in with yourself. And when something is not yours, when you deal with it and you feel a sense of clarity, like, like that, that was not my energy. No. And because I deal with so many different energies and stuff and read for people, I have to check constantly when something's not mine. And that's why it's important to cleanse and clear your energy. And not just like for spiritual workers, but when you are working, let's say in an office, or you're constantly talking and exchanging energy with people amongst the day, it's important that you cleanse your energy when you get home. You don't want to take that shit with you. You probably don't even want to take it in your car. Like as soon as you leave out that door, do some type of cleansing, some type of prayer or something, whatever you do to cleanse your energy before you get in your car or your transportation, before you walk in your door, before you even step on your doorstep. You don't want to take that shit with you in your house. Sometimes we forget, granted we forget, especially if you live like amongst a lot of people or you have a lot of roommates, all those energies. So it's good to do them floor washes, do them cleansings in your home, take them spiritual baths or the showers and stuff like that. If y'all want some of my spiritual waters, quick advertisement, I make them myself. They're all organic, doesn't have all those chemicals and all that shit in it. So if y'all want y'all some natural Florida waters, I got you. I got some. They have different purposes and all of that. So if you guys are into the Florida waters, I got you. Check out my website. I'm about to make me some more batches if you guys are interested. But yeah, no. It's important to cleanse your energy and prayer, and like sometimes we forget. You have to think of spiritual hygiene like this, and I try to remind myself of this. Just as much as you brush your teeth and you wash your face daily, you wash your assets daily, right? You have to think of your spiritual hygiene in the same way. You have to cleanse your energy. You don't want to take that shit with you. Think of it as like, I don't want to walk around with that spiritual dirt on me. Okay. Yeah. So just think of it that way. And if you don't have all the little, the Florida waters and all of that and salt water, all that other stuff, it visualizations, prayer, talk to your water. Talk to your water, speak to the water as it's washing your body, or as it's coming down on your body. I'm cleansing my auric field of X, Y, and Z. Blah 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 blah. The day that I had, or if your boss pissed you off, I'm cleansing my energy of that motherfucker. This, just release and let it go down the drain. Cover your head. Like if you're doing them extensive cleanses, wash your head, cover your head. Um, Yeah, y'all know. Some of you guys already have your own things that you do, but just during this time, just get your spiritual protection up. Okay. Use your discernment, listen to your intuition, right? If something is not right, check in with yourself. If you feel led to relax, relax. If you feel led to go somewhere, go somewhere. If you feel like, okay, I shouldn't be talking to this person, or I'm not in the space right now, honor yourself. It's okay to do that. Spiritual protection sometimes is like saying yes and saying no to certain things. I ain't gonna do that. Nope. I'm not gonna talk to this person today. Okay. I'm not gonna address that. I'm not gonna deal with that. Nope. This does not need my response. Spiritual protection all day. I want to talk about destiny swap. I've been seeing that pop around a lot lately. Destiny swapping and stuff like that. And I want to get into that because some of us need to be mindful of who we are intimate with, and not just physically sexually intimate, but just like sharing our intimate details and stories, people like who we trust. Like you got to be mindful. I want to talk about that. I feel like I'm here to be that shadow worker, because some people just think the spirituality, like I said, is just pixie ducks and magic, and it's like Target candles, like spirituality versus like the candles at the Botanica that people are scared. Some people don't want to pick up certain candles, but they'll go to Target and get them like I'm gonna get me a little cute patchouli candle. That's how some people are with spirituality. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna go for the marketed, the what's popular, what's trendy. I'm gonna just get me some cute patchouli candles, and I'm just gonna cleanse my energy, of negativity. We ain't doing that. Sometimes you gotta get them black candles. I'm just like, I know some people don't fuck with black candles. It's definitely, yeah. Anywho, I don't want to take up too much of y'all time. I just wanted to share that real quick because, yeah, I feel like it's just fitting right now to talk about, spiritual warfares and battles and things like that. And, people out here don't know no better, and people out here really be walking around in skin suits, whole demons, or just people that are demonically influenced and don't even know. Like it's easy to go there. Like it's so easy. And this is why I wanted to say, going back to my friend that I was talking about, she's a beautiful person. I love her to death. So it's not about being a bad person. Sometimes demons feed off of you when you're, you know, kids and children, like innocence and purity. They love light. Demonic forces love light, and all it takes is for you to let your guard down, for you to watch or listen to something you have no business to read, or to engage with somebody, or to be in a bad moment or something, or have a negative thought or whatever. It's not hard. I'm pretty sure we've all been, at least if not possessed fully, possessed by a spirit, we've been influenced by spirits. Definitely if you drink and you smoke weed, like come on now. It's a possibility, and that's why some people, I've come across people that love to get high, but they know to pray over they're very particular where they get their weed from, what grade, and also they pray over their weed, because you have to understand, like when you get into that induced state, like you're up there, you're in another room. When you open yourself up, you're somewhere else. So it's not so much the weed itself, but it's the state, it's the openness that you're in. So if you're somebody that gets high when you're depressed, you open season. Demons gonna love you because you think you're escaping from that reality, but you're just taking that consciousness with you to you're still in that state of mind. Like it's not going to go anywhere with you. It's like you're in a hot air balloon and you got shitty clothes on, you're dirty, it's pissy, and you're going in a hot air balloon, it's taking you high, but you still got that dirty shit on you. So you're just taking that energy with you to another space. If you're in a positive state of mind, or if you're seeking to meditate or reflect, you're going to take that energy with you. So you're opening yourself up to whatever your intentions are. Same thing when you drink. If you're drinking and you're depressed, you're probably going to do some dumb shit while you're drunk. So it's not hard to get influenced. It's not. Intentions, mindset, that's everything. Your will and your intentions is important. So I'm not gonna demonize the chronic for those of you that are chronic levels, okay? Because me at one point I was a potty as well. I was a pothead, but I had different experiences, and when I like think about it, it either was one or two things. Sometimes it was the people I was around, it was the state that I was in, and yeah, it may have played a role with the grade, how much I smoked, and all that other shit, the body chemistry, all that technical science, my God, can't talk. Technological and scientific stuff, like that could play a role in it, definitely, yes. But yeah. I hope that this message made some sense and like gave somebody some gems, some nuggets. It is what it is. We can agree to disagree as well. That's completely fine. But let me know how you guys like that movie, if you watched it, if you will watch it, if you have already watched it. What is your take on the Deliverance movie? Because I thought it was interesting, and I feel like the Christian community sometimes can be they I just want to say, like, it's all love, because I still resonate with some of my church ways, and some, people that are in the church. I got love for them, and I resonate with some of the things that they say and the principles and things like that. But a lot of fear mongering, like for real, it's like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. And I get, like, be careful with what you engage in. Like, not everything is meant to be entertaining, and some things aren't necessary for you to watch. But I do believe that there is something, because not everybody's gonna be interested in Deliverance. They might watch the movie and be like, "Oh, dang, I didn't know it was like that." Because if you watch an exorcism movie, like I said, they don't execute the demon. They don't annihilate the demon. They usually take the demon on for themselves, but it still lives on. With this movie, she casted that demon down into hell. Like, I've never seen a movie do that. And that's really what deliverance is. When you deliver a person of a spirit, you have to send that spirit back to where it came from. Otherwise, it's going to jump bodies, right? And it needs life. It needs somewhere to go. That's how it works. So I've never seen it in that way, because I don't believe that it's powerful to take, like, I think it was the first Exorcist movie. I could be wrong, but one of the priests took the demon on for himself. Like, he casted it out of the girl and took it on for himself and jumped out of a window, like committed suicide. Like, that to me, that's not powerful. That's dumb to me. Like, how you a priest and you don't know how to cast the demon into hell? Like, you gonna take, like, that's stupid as fuck. Like, that's dumb. You know what I mean? Like, where's the war? Where's the real power in that? Where's the real battle in that? And I get sometimes people, you gotta take one for the team, but that's not how you do it. Because I think the demon still was like jumping people. Otherwise, Exorcist wouldn't have all them other movies. But anywho, I'm not well versed in the Exorcist movie universe. I've only seen one. I can't get into it like that. It was kind of cheesy, but yeah, no. And that movie was kind of disturbing too. I'm like, some of the stuff they were having her do. And that's why I said, like, you can tell when somebody's not all the way there, because they'll do some really outrageous, sick things. And it's like, or they'll say crazy stuff. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you sound sick. Like, very belligerent. Like, it makes no sense. It's like just talking at just gibberish, or just like saying stuff that just don't make no sense. Like, that's how you know, like, motherfucker, you is either one or two things. Motherfucker, you either crazy as fuck or you're possessed. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, just sick shit. But I will say, like, in the Deliverance movie, there was one part that was kind of funny. where the mom, not the mother, but the grandmother, the main character's mother, when the little boy was possessed and he formed into the grandmother says something real, or the demon forming as the grandmother says something so stupid, but it was kind of funny. But like that's like a comical part probably in the movie, but just the fact like what she said was like, who talks like that? Like who says that's how you know it don't make no sense. Demons are they'll talk, that's how you know they're not sound. So when you have certain thoughts that are not yours and you have those influences, like you're like, where the fuck did that come from? That's how you got to know like something's not right here, or you just have a good day all of a sudden, or nothing bad is going on in your world and all of a sudden you have this thought like, oh, you should jump out this window. It's like, what the fuck? Like, no. Mm-mm. No, demons are just like, they something else. And when they come into other people, they start talking crazy. Okay, I forgot to share this, but I kind of, how do I cloak this? Because it was a family member, but I'm trying to, because I got family that be watching my channel and shit, so I'm trying to be careful what I say. But no offense, it is what it is. Shit, fuck it. This family member was talking to another family member and was like taunting her. She was like, how do I cloak this? Because I know like sometimes they watch my channel. I know one, at least one of my family members for sure watches my channel sometimes when she has a chance to. But basically she was telling her to like take a nap, go take some pills. Like she was taunting her because this family member, like, dealt with drug addiction or whatever. So she was like taunting her and like saying degrading things, and the other family members like, oh my god, like why would you say that, like why would you say that to me? And then everybody else, like, we're all looking and watching like, what is going on? And when we looked at the family member that was spewing all this hate and saying all this crazy stuff, she looked like a big man. Like, I'm trying to explain this in a way that's not, I'm trying to, she looks like a man. Like, how do I explain it? She looked crazy. She looked really robust. Like she's already kind of strong looking, but her face looked weird. Like it almost was like, and she was smiling very sinisterly while she was saying it. And that's like, we was looking at her like, like no. And after the fact, when we was like talking about it, when we all were talking about it, we were like, she looked scary as fuck. Like she looked like, what the fuck? Like that was another encounter that I had with somebody that was taken over. It was so weird. And like the way she was talking to her was crazy. I was like, why? What? And smiling and taunting, like, yeah, no, no, thank you. Yeah, that's another thing too. Demons, they'll laugh at you too. That's one thing that I do remember. Matter of fact, they'll always laugh, and they show that in movies too. Like they'll just hysterically laugh out of nowhere, especially after they like did something mischievous, or they did something to you. They'll laugh hysterically. Um, or they will beat you down. Demons love that. They love to beat you down. That's one thing that I noticed. They'll stare at you, like deep stare at you, like almost like nothing's there, but they'll stare at you. They'll look at you, or they'll smile, or they'll laugh at you. And then there's the darker side where they attack you through words. You're stupid. You're nothing. You're this. You're that. Or just talk crazy to you, like just crazy. And yeah, it's not like a normal argument where two people going at it. Well, F you too, bitch. Well, no, fuck you too, bitch. It's not like that. It's like it's it's worse than that. It's 10 times worse than that. It's like, that's why your mama don't love you, bitch. Blah blah blah. It's like what the fuck is you talking about? Crazy. Crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. A demon's job is there to trigger you. Purposely trigger you. Like, or try to defeat you, especially if you're trying to combat it. And that's why I said, like, when you go into that place, you cannot feel defeated when you try to address something within yourself, or you try to fight a thought. That's how you know it's a spiritual warfare. When you say, okay, let's say I'm not gonna drink tonight. I'm not gonna have this drink. No, I'm not gonna get drunk. I'm not gonna do it. And then you hear something like, just have a drink. It's okay. It's fine. Just have a little drink. You deserve it. You know, fuck everything. Just fuck it. Just drink it. That's the spirit. That is a spirit. That is not you. You know you shouldn't do it and you try to reason with it. Or it's like, if you have a bad thought about yourself, it will get worse. It will intensify. Yeah, see, you're stupid. That's why you didn't, whatever. That's why it didn't work out in that relationship, because you're too stupid. Nobody wants you. You're ugly. You're this, you're that. It's like it doesn't make sense, right? It might sound like it makes sense because you'll reason with it, be like, maybe you're right, because these are things that you already wrestle with in your heart. So it's easy for that to be dealt with. It's easy for that to be played with, if that makes sense. Going back to the movie where the apostle told the main character, she said, you have to deal with your heart. Otherwise, these demons are going to use it against you. That is true shit, coming from experience. Number one key thing when it comes to deliverance, you cannot go into that battlefield unequipped. You cannot do it, because the demon is going to attack you, because you're there to attack it. So therefore, because you're not dealing with the person, you're not coming against the person that's being possessed. You're coming against the spirit that is possessing the person. It needs a host. It needs an influence. So of course it's going to fight for its right to stay there, because that person either gave it legal ground to be there, or that person is ignorant to the fact that they've gave it legal ground somehow. So when I say legal ground, meaning if this person, let's say, knew not to do a curse spell on somebody and they did it anyway. Let's say that person's spiritually protected and that person is in a dark energy. The person is trying to cast the spells in a dark energy. They're calling on spirits and demons. Those demons come in and host that person because they gave them legal ground to be there. So when you go into trying to attack a spirit, even if it's coming against you personally and it's not a host or anything, but it's something trying to influence you, something trying to attack you, it is going to fight for its right to be there. It's going to fight you. It's not going to be easy. So you have to think about it like that. I'm up against you and you're up against me. We have to fight for who is going to stay, who is going to win this battle. So a demon is going to do everything that it can. And if it's working through another person, it's going to taunt you. It's going to talk shit to you. It's going to laugh in your face. Especially when you start praying, it's going to be like, it's not working. Haha. And that's like to throw you off your game. So you'll get discouraged. Like, oh, fuck, this shit's not working. This prayer is not working. Or this intentions is not working. And it's going to taunt you. But you got to stand your ground. The more irritated the spirit, I guarantee you, it's working. If the spirit starts getting irritated with you, that's how you know. Just like when you get irritated by the spirits and you start getting frustrated and you start wanting to give up, they feel like they're winning. I know this sounds crazy. It sounds like some scientific, like crazy movie shit, because if you never, like I said, if y'all don't believe it, let's, if you feel comfortable, if you feel safe enough to do it, look up deliverance videos on YouTube and you tell me what you think. You tell me. Or maybe you like those little spiritual like TikToks or YouTube channels where they talk about like witchy shit or whatever, and the experiences of what happened and stuff. Maybe that's, more your speed. But if you want to see like demons casted out of people real time, look up deliverance videos on YouTube and you tell me what you think. Because I know it to be true for a fact. I've seen it. I've done it. So I know that it's real. Like I said, my aunt has practiced deliverances in the church. So you tell me. I'm just trying to help. Because people think this shit ain't real. It's definitely real. It's definitely real. People can be possessed. If you believe in energy, you believe in angels, and like I said, you better believe that other spirits exist. Because demons do not want to leave. They don't. You have to really like sometimes people be working like some of this stuff, like they can do this for hours. That's how stubborn some of these spirits are. And sometimes it's not just one. This is another thing that I've learned about demons as well. Demonology, or demons, they come in legions. So like, let's say you deal with spirit of depression. That spirit of depression can bring another spirit like it, like a homeboy, like, hey, come on, spirit of suicide, come on now. Yeah, come on in. Then the spirit of suicide brings the spirit of death in. Come on in. So then you got like whoever else is assigned to that spirit coming in. Or if you have an addiction to, let's say, like drugs, addiction can also bring in depression, can bring in plagues or sickness, and let's bring in another spirit. You know what I mean? Like, they come in legions. So when somebody is like someone is a deliverance, like a practice of deliverance, sometimes it takes hours to break that person out of that possession. And they'll cry, they'll spit, they'll throw up, they'll urinate on themselves sometimes, because that spirit is releasing, but sometimes it doesn't want to go, so it'll fight. It'll make the person like fall out, and it's a whole, it's shit. I'm telling you, that stuff is real. It is so real. It is so real. Yeah, I've seen it before. I'm telling you, like, I've seen it. And when you call, when you like, because the person's not there, so you can't be like, Sister Mary, what's going on with you, Sister Mary? Sister Paul or Brother Paul, what's going on with you? You can't call the person's name because they're not going to register. When you call that spirit out, like, what's your name? That spirit, well, the person is going to say, because the person's still, it's them, but they're going to say something like, the spirit of Jezebel. And you like, Jezebel, come out of the person, and then Jezebel might swing her neck like, start smiling. The person, it's, I'm telling you, this shit is crazy. It's so real. It is so real. It is really real. Be careful of them like Nigerian ones, because some of that stuff I feel like is staged. Like, some of that stuff is not. Some of it is like dramatization videos. I don't know if they're passing it off as real or they're just giving you a depiction of what it is. But like, look up like real church videos, not like those big old mass church stuff. Because some of that stuff, I'm like, I don't know about this. This looks like some acting jobs. But like, if you watch a real deliverance, you'll see. Yeah. But if your eye gates are not ready for that, don't watch it. Just don't. But yeah. Um wow. I can't even believe I'm talking about this, because I feel like people just are not ready for that. It's like, yeah, I'll admit it's kind of scary, but I understand that if there's goodness in the world, there's definitely evil, and I've seen it. So I know firsthand, as some other people, y'all, you might know, like, sure, y'all have your own stories. If whether you grew up in church or you didn't, or just like out in the world somehow, like, and the sad part of it is there's a lot of people out there that need help, that need spiritual healing, because there's a lot of people that are like out here possessed, like out on the streets even, and that's like even scarier. Like, yeah, kind of scary, sad, you know. Um, because it's spiritual warfare. I really do believe that. Like, the time that we're in, it's like we can step in our power, or we can, you know, choose a side or choose fear, which you don't want to do that. Never that. Yeah. Some people you're dealing with, they're not all the way there. You have to think about it that way too. You're like, why are people so cruel in the world? Why is this happening? And you really wrestle with it, but you have to understand that what you're wrestling with is not always flesh and blood. It's spiritual things. Shit. You think you arguing with some, crazy broad at a grocery store, the whole time that bitch got demons on her. You know what I mean? Like, You have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, child. And some of them on stage singing and rapping, and we just, yeah, bitch, yeah, that's my song. Yeah, yeah, okay. Your song got all kind of little freaky little motherfucking spirits on it, and all kind of rebellious energy in it, and you just twerking along with it. Anyway, long story short, I hope that y'all got something positive out of this. Like, if it, is too much, it's okay. I understand. I get it. I get it. Might sound a little crazy. I understand. I get it. Certain things might be foreign to the ears, or just things we just don't want to touch. But y'all, y'all be safe out here in these streets, okay? Enjoy your Thursday. It's Jupiter J. So don't let nobody stop your shine, and you know, y'all enjoy yourselves, okay? Yeah. Let me know. I want to hear y'all thoughts. Like, if y'all have watched that movie, what is your take on that? I want to, if you've watched it or you're going to, thinking about it, like, what's your take on the Deliverance? I want to hear your thoughts and your maybe your perception on the movie, what you got from it, what you took from it. But I'm sending much love y'all way. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And I'll catch you guys later. I'm going to go live for a happy hour later this evening. So if you guys are watching this the same day, I'll see you guys later this evening on happy hour. Much love. Be blessed. Be safe. Take care. Peace.